Here. My name's Gary Mekjan. I'm the city manager here in Farmington Hills, and I want to thank everybody for coming this morning. We hope that this you'll see this as an invaluable event that we try to hold either annually or biannually, just to kind of gather and talk about all things business in Farmington Hills. So Farmington Hills has one of the most varied and inclusive business portfolios in Oakland County. And, I think it's really interesting. You can go in parts of town and grab a really good Indian meal, very spicy, sometimes too spicy. Tia introduced me to some of that culinary culture. And then you can get in your car and you can go drive and you can go shopping and get some clothing or whatever you need. It's also home across the entire market spectrum of some of America's biggest and brightest corporations and companies, and is in my opinion a collection of some of the best mom and pop shops you can find in southeastern Michigan. So anything from Bosch to Buddy's Pizza and everything in between. And you, the entrepreneurs and the businesses here in Farmington Hills, help bolster our city and help it thrive. So we're so happy to have you. We're very appreciative of everything you do to run and operate your businesses successfully, because rising tides rise all boats, right? So I'm also very excited, not to point out individuals, to hear from Steve Anier, who has become a very good friend. And he's the helm of one of our newest nonprofits here in the city, the Kirk Gibson Foundation. I mean, who doesn't love Gibby, right? And his Parkinson's Wellness Center that's located up on Northwestern Highway. I'm very excited that you guys brought your first and best in class facility right here to Farmington Hills. So thank you for doing that. So thank you again for coming out and to learn from your peers and to network. Have some coffee. You're going to hear, Tia's going to tell you about a lot of energy and a lot of excitement that we have along some of our major corridors. So if you don't have a business right now here in Farmington or Farmington Hills, there's a lot of excitement coming. Our Orchard Lake corridor is really starting to take shape. Many of you may have questions about what's going on at the corner of 14 and Orchard. Tia's here to help answer those questions. We just got a lot of excitement, a lot of zoning amendments that are trying to make things easier for businesses and developers to come into town and do business here in the city of Farmington Hills. So with that, I hope you all leave here feeling more knowledgeable and invigorated to do business here in the city of Farmington Hills, and have a great day. Thank you.
Thanks, Gary. So good morning, everyone. I will make sure I keep this portion of my discussion with you short, but thank you so much for coming out. We are going to have a wonderful lineup of really knowledgeable speakers, and it's fantastic to see all of your faces and understand really what you are doing as a business, as a startup, or wherever you're at in your business career, and being able to help you in ways that we know how. So I would like to welcome Mick and Jerry up to the stage. They are going to speaking on SCORE's behalf. They're a wonderful couple of people who are very knowledgeable in the small business realm, and they're going to be speaking on a lot of general how-tos, but even fulfill more questions that you might have in terms of loans and small business growth. So come on up here, you guys. Oh, and also, thank you, Gary, for reminding me. I would also like to announce that some of our council members are here. If you'd like to rise, please stand, give a wave, and thank you so much for coming.
Hi, good morning. Good morning. Oh, this is the first time I get a response. It's wonderful. I am Mick Shimamura. I'm a certified SCORE mentor and the vice chair of SCORE Southeast Michigan. And joining me today here is Jerry Singh. He's the newly minted, the certified score mentor. Jay, briefly.
Yeah, sure. My business was in Livonia, not too far from here, and I sold it in January because I, as a small business owner, got so much help. So I became part of SCORE as a certified mentor to give it back as a volunteer.
Okay, thank you. Today, I'd like to first thank the city for the invitation. Thank you for inviting us, and for all of you joining us on this kind of rainy morning. A little chilly, but there's such an enthusiasm I can feel. So this is a great event. Now today, I'd like to share with you who SCORE is and what services SCORE has available for you and how you can sign up for our services. SCORE has been an official resource partner of the Small Business Administration since our inception in 1964. This is our 61st year of operation. We support business owners and aspiring, aspiring entrepreneurs for the life of their businesses. That is from ideation stage, scaling, and eventual exit. That is happy retirement, I hope. And how we do that, these are how we offer 3 services. The first, our flagship service, that is a confidential one-on-one mentoring with the business owners. And this is provided at no cost to you. And second, in-person workshops and online webinars. Topics range from business essentials, such as how to do business with the federal government, state government, all the way to emerging topic, like how to use AI in your small business operations. The third, effective October 1st, because of the change in federal funding policies, now we have to ask nominal registration fees for these sessions. The third, we make various business templates available. Business model canvas, business planning kit, financial projections. These are the most popular downloads. We have a whole bunch more available for download from our the website. And the good part is downloads, we are not going to ask you a credit card information, so that remains at no cost to you. Now, how effective these are, I do not brag myself. I will let the numbers talk. Each year, SCORE Association retains an international consulting firm of PwC to conduct impact assessment. These are 2024 results, nationwide results. New businesses we help start, and new jobs they created. And back home to state of Michigan, these are our impact. Well, I'm expecting a little oohs and ahs. Thank you. Okay, so now you got the numbers and so forth. How actually we help our local entrepreneurs. These are top 5 most frequently requested mentoring topics. Talking to here, I understand our top 3 are fairly consistent with what the city is often asked. So today, since we got so many people here, I like to overview how your mentoring session would go if you came in with these challenges. Business planning. The first, we would try to establish common understanding of what's involved. What matters most is the process of generating your business plan. Thinking through what your value proposition is, who your target customers are, assessing and possibly redesigning how you deliver the value to your customers, so on and so forth. We kind of emphasize this is your playbook in the marketplace. And financial projections are an integral part of your business planning. That's quantitative expression of your business visions and ideas. They serve as a kind of the radar screen that navigates you toward your promised land. And business planning is a more dynamic and iterative process rather than you do it at the beginning of the year and forget about it for the rest of the year until New Year comes around. This is the iterative, ongoing process. You could get your help from AI tools such as ChatGPT, Gemini, and so forth. But you do not want to delegate business planning to AI. Your business is your passion, your vision, your career, your life. You do not want to kind of start working for AI, right? So I would encourage use of AI as a tool, but heart and soul of business planning still rests with you. You need to drive that process. And that's where our mentors like Jerry comes in to help. We have retired corporate executives and seasoned business owners. You can get practical insights and support in navigating through your planning process. If you want to get more in-depth knowledge about the business planning, you can join our workshop. And you can even use our template to document your planning process. So definitely we can help you here. We often get this inquiry. When people come to us looking for funds, they are first thinking about the grants. And I would explain to them in the general terms, grants are rare and highly competitive. And oftentimes, those grants are for technology-based or export-oriented businesses. If you are brick and mortar, you might have limited grant opportunities with the Downtown Development Authority for your signage or the facade renovations. If you join boot camps or accelerator programs such as TechTown and Centropolis, those membership might open up the doors toward the grants. But reality check here is the study concluded, the recent study concluded, your success rate is probably less than 5%. So grants are something you may want to pursue. It's worthwhile pursuit. But it's not something you want to depend on. My clients tend to ask, okay, what about investors? I hear there's a lot of people willing to invest in a new business. Yes, they are looking for high growth, scalable ventures. So those tend to be technology enabled and with the clear path to exit, which is acquisition, being acquired by other company or go public, IPO. So if your business fit in this very narrowly defined, what they call investable business, then you got a chance. If you are going for external investors, please keep it in mind, you are giving up part of your ownership and some control. Nothing negative about it, just that the reality of the fact is that you are going to give up something. It's not free money. And that usually brings us to loans. And this is when our good friend from SBA come in. But since they did not come in today, I will briefly touch upon what kind of programs are available. 7A is the most versatile program. This is for general business purposes. 504 is for major equipment purchases and real estate development, but it's not for flipping. The owner must occupy part of the property. And that comes down to the micro loans. Micro loans are the ideal for startups and early stage businesses. These are dispersed not by SBA, but through SBA-approved lenders, banks, community lenders, and credit unions. And if you go there, the first thing they will ask you is the business plan, financial projection, and support documentation for those. SCORE does not directly provide any funding. That's not our role. But our mentors, they are former bankers, loan officers, and finance professionals. They will certainly help you prepare strong application, marketing, and sales. Well, this is where I usually bring in my fellow mentors to help. Oftentimes, over time, our mentors, the needs evolve beyond the purview of my or other first assigned mentors. Then we will bring in someone else who has a relevant skill sets. And marketing and sales is such a situation for me. We have a marketing strategist. They will help you clearly define your value proposition, why people should buy from you. Identify your target customers. And once you get there, which marketing channel and the tools you want to use kind of follow. And if you are successful advancing that much, we have a digital marketing experts. Those people who are techie and speak in acronyms, SEOs and CROs and UX. I have no clue what they're talking about. But you know those people. They can help you. We have a whole bunch of those. Okay. So from strategy to execution, we've got you covered. Now, if my presentation today made you remotely interested or curious about our service, please pick this up over there and scan this QR code that will take you to our website, or type in www.score.org/SC-Michigan. You'll be taken to our website. The relationship between you and us starts at our website. And our mentors, like Sherry, is ready and eager to help you move forward. Finally, is this slide shared?
We will be sharing all
Okay. So I kind of listed out all those resources I mentioned today, so please check them out when you get a chance. Now, so I appreciate you stay awake, and today's opportunity to share who we are, what we do, and how to sign up for our services. And I'm really looking forward to seeing your names popping up out of our system as the newest SCORE clients. Thank you.
I'm an entrepreneur, I'm an ex-entrepreneur, and the help that I got during my business ownership, I've owned more than 8 businesses from the startup to the exit, where I did this, like I said earlier, in January this year. So we're so fortunate to be in the state of Michigan and here to look at this event. You did the right thing coming to this event, and the information you're getting and the support you're going to get from the resources that you're going to hear today, as well as if you go to the SCORE website and the resources that are there. I have personally used these resources, and I never felt alone. I got so much help. I feel blessed that when I started my business, I did not have the money, I did not have the experience, whether it's how to register my business, LLC or S corporation. With SCORE and other resources that are available, and you go to the website and you will see tons of templates as well as business information. So it's all good for you. So I encourage you, please reach out, and you've already taken the right step coming here to this event. So just feel that the environment in Michigan is so great that the help that is available for training your employees, starting your business, and touched on it, how to get funding to start your business, that sort of thing, So for the sake of time, I want to, close here, but help is available to you. You'll never feel alone. There are resources available so that you're successful. The key thing is to make our communities better, to create jobs, create wealth for yourself, and create value for your clients. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you so much for coming and joining us here this morning. We appreciate you reaching out. Thank you, Tia, for putting this together. This is an exciting event. I am, like Tia said, Michelle Aronofsky. I'm the Director of Central Services. Central Services is in charge of IT, telecommunications, and purchasing. With me, I have my senior buyer, Nikki Lumpkin, along with Shabita, who is the buyer over at City Hall and Central Services. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about purchasing and a little bit of background. Oops. Okay, I'm going to go through a little bit of how purchasing works over with the City of Farmington Hills, and then Nikki's going to go a little bit deeper on how you a little bit more details on the actual purchasing side of it. The city operates under a charter designed to ensure transparency and maintain public trust in how taxpayer dollars are spent. To achieve this, the city uses a central purchasing system. This means most purchases, whether large or small, are coordinated through the purchasing department. We work closely with all departments to ensure that every purchase complies with established policies and procedures. Purchasing doesn't just process purchasing orders. We actively look for ways to save the city money. This includes leveraging cooperative purchasing agreements with other government entities and utilizing extendable contracts, which allow multiple entities to to benefit from negotiating pricing and terms. What this means for small companies is if your company is awarded a bid or a quote, and if you agree, your pricing terms and conditions can be extended to other entities that are looking for the same services or commodities. There are common misunderstandings that the city is required to accept the lowest bid no matter what. That is not the case. The city awards contracts to the lowest, most qualified vendor. This means while the price is key, it is not the only one. For example, if we are facing a timeline and facing a time-sensitive need and the lowest bidder cannot deliver within the required time frame, we may choose a slightly higher priced vendor who can meet the city's deadline. Our goal is to make responsible decisions that best serve the public interest, not just the bottom line. The city purchases a wide range of goods and services, everything from pencils to vehicles, including the fire trucks. We also contract for services such as janitorial supplies, janitorial work, construction projects, major road work, and facility roofing, to just name a few. Our mission is to support the city operations efficiently and responsible, always with a focus on quality, compliance, and value for the community.
So good morning. Like she said, I am Nikki Lumpkin. I'm the senior buyer. I do have to tell you, I'm a little under the weather. So if you see me start sweating, it might be the fever coming on, it may not, but just bear with me, okay? So I was out yesterday, but Michelle gave me some notes. I'm probably gonna go off the cuff. So make sure you have questions afterwards, make sure you ask me, okay? So as a senior buyer, Michelle and Shabetta and I, we all follow a structured and transparent process to obtain the goods and services, which primarily support our city departments, which in turn provide the services to the community. We have 4 major methods that we use, and that is our P-card purchases. That's for our smaller purchases, anything that's under $1,000. The P-card pretty much acts as a credit card, which departments can use and instantly obtain their items and payment. We also have our existing contracts, like Michelle mentioned, through Mitten. There are extendable contracts that once you're awarded, multiple cities can purchase from those contracts, which we use often. We also have our quote process. So that's for our mid-range purchases that's under $10,000. We typically obtain quotes that are verbal from $1,000 to $5,000, and then anything that's over $5,000 to $10,000, we obtain written quotes, and then 10,000 is our threshold as a city, which we have to go out to actually bid, and that's where you all get to get involved. Now, you can get involved, of course, with the quote process, but most people use Mitten, that's our resource for advertising our bids, to look for those larger purchases, those larger services that most people are looking to get the big bucks for. So, Mitten, where can you find those bids? That's what I mentioned a couple times. So Mitten is used by 300 different public agencies. So it's a one-stop shop. Once you're registered there, you have the City of Farmington Hills, Rochester Hills, you have Sterling Heights, you have multiple school agencies all at your fingertips. It's kind of the place you want to be. So you can look for all different types of services that are utilized by multiple entities with the login and with the registration and login of one website. With that, Mitten was launched in 2003, and City of Farmington Hills is one of the founding 8 members, so we're very proud of that. We hold a meeting monthly to reach out to our other agencies and to find out what we need, if we need to work together to buy something, purchase something, services, who's going to work together for a cooperative. Again, there's that word, that cooperative. And it's a meeting that allows us to discuss problems that we have, things that we need, things that we want to do as a collective, and to hopefully get you all involved and to try to keep you involved in how to better service our different communities. So with us working together, that it creates a better opportunity for you to reach all of us through this website. So your vendors can now actually submit their responses either online or in person. For a long time we had in person, but now there's electronic bidding. And it helps out because that means the information is at your hands 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you don't even have to leave your office to get a piece of the pie, or at least to try to get a piece of the pie, to submit your actual bid. Your bid, if you're going to turn it in, it used to be at the city clerk's office, but now you can submit through Mitten along with your insurance, your bid bond, and everything else that comes along with that. The registration for Mitten is free, and you can register by just getting the information uploaded there, and then you can also register for a fee that will automatically email you notification about what's going out to bid. So if you are looking for construction services, if any one of the entities that are on there is looking for construction services, there's a 5-digit code that we use. If you match with that code, it automatically sends you an email and letting you know, hey, there's something out there that you've matched with, and you may want to take a look at it. You can download it, again, 24/7, download that information at your fingertips, fill out the solicitation, and then return it back to us for review. Next, we have the community cooperative contracts. So cooperative contracts I've already kind of touched on, so I don't think I need to go through that again. Most of our contracts here at the City of Farmington Hills, once awarded, we award for 1 or 2 years, and then we have the option to extend. So again, you don't have to necessarily worry about putting a bid in year after year with the City of Farmington Hills. We automatically build in a percentage where you tell us what that percentage of your increase is going to be, and at that time we send out an extension to you, and we can extend up to 5 years depending on the actual solicitation. We have multiple payment methods available. We have ACH, and then we have our actual, of course, a regular check. And then also last, for me to let you know, there is a multi-year contract dashboard that's on our website. So it's something that a lot of people don't realize is out there. So if you're selling janitorial supplies or you have services and you want to see what the city needs, you go out there to the City of Farmington Hills website, the purchasing department, and you look for multi-year dashboard. On that dashboard, it'll tell you what year we're in, who currently has it, and when it was awarded. So you know the next time that contract is actually coming up to bid, and you can be ready. So you have Mittens that's gonna let you know about it, and then you also have the dashboard if you wanna do a little bit of homework on your own. So with that, it's our fair and very transparent process. I made it through, and I'm gonna hand it back over to Michelle if you have any questions.
Fantastic. I did want to mention too, what Nikki was saying, if once you go into the mitten, which it can also be a resource, you can download bid tabs also, so you can see what has been, what other vendors bid for the past, I think we go back 20 years or so. So if you're wondering, where your pricing will fall in, there's bid tabs out there so you can see it for probably 95% of it for our bids. Not every entity posts their bid tabs, but the City of Farmington Hills does. So thank you again. We're all set. Thanks.
All right, we are going to welcome Sarah Rusnell to the stage. She is with the Michigan Department of Treasury. Many times I do receive questions on how to establish your business and really how to become involved in understanding more about your business taxes. So we have a very knowledgeable professional here to help you in those kind of questions, and she can field any type of interest that you might have. So here she is. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Thanks, Tia. Hi, everybody. Oh, thank you. Yeah, hi. I know that Treasury is sometimes a little like, oh God, it's 10:30 a.m. and we're going to talk about taxes? Is that how we're feeling? We don't have to talk about taxes. We don't have to talk about Bruno. We don't have to talk about any of it. Let's get some engagement going. What does Treasury do besides tax administration? Anybody know? Go ahead, raise your hand. I will call on people. Nobody knows? Treasury's just taxes? I'm excited about this. Okay. So Treasury's services span a lot of a financial space for our great state of Michigan. We have boards and commissions like the Michigan Infrastructure Council, the State Tax Commission, the Detroit Financial Review Commission, Michigan Finance Authority, so we do that sort of stuff. We also do financial empowerment, or we head financial empowerment in Michigan, which is a multidisciplinary team of representatives from different state agencies and community levels working together to positively impact the residents of Michigan achieving financial literacy, success, and empowerment at all ages. Cool? Yeah, cool. We also have a local government unit. Hey, Farmington Hills. Hey. Local government. So our local government area, Treasury serves as a trusted partner with them for community success by assisting local governments and school districts with services and support for long-term fiscal health as well. Post-secondary financial services. Now, we lost some of our post-secondary financial services in a current reorganization to a new Department of State called MyLeap, but we still retain Michigan's 529 plans. Have you heard of these? Michigan Education Trust, Michigan Achieving a Better Life Experience, or MyAble, that one. And we also partner with MDHHS, or the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, on the Fostering Futures Scholarship Program. Have you heard of that one? Those are cool programs. You can check them out on our website, michigan.gov/treasury. Has anyone ever heard of unclaimed property? Yes. Did you know that Treasury administers the state's unclaimed property? Well, now you do. So Treasury does a lot more than taxes, and yeah, we also do taxes, and that's what I'm primarily going to talk about today, but I'm going to introduce you to Treasury first. All of the information that I'm going to talk to you about today is up to date, to the moment, accurate. Everyone saw that the budget was a little wild this year, and maybe it included some hefty tax adjustments, some tax changes that we're currently working through. So this disclaimer is more important than ever. We are in a time of change, especially in the tax space. So all the information I'm giving you today is up to the moment accurate as far as what we understand right now and what the current law is, but we know that we've got some changes coming next year. And we know that, or I want you to know, that the best place to get the information about how things are changing at Treasury or at a state tax level is at michigan.gov/taxes. Okay? All right, so We don't have a ton of time today, but I do want to thank Michelle and Nikki and our friends at SCORE for giving me a little extra time, because I'm going to take it to talk to you all about taxes. I'm going to talk a little bit about Treasury. I'll introduce you to some of the state level taxes to get your feet a little bit wet in the type of tax obligations you may be looking at as a business. But before we even dive into the state tax, we're going to talk about the different levels of tax, because whether you are brand new, been around a while, or need a refresher, it's always good to make sure that we're all talking at the same page when we talk about taxes, because it can get really complicated really fast. And then I've got contact information and some quick references over on the table over there that you can take away as well, so you know how to contact me and Treasury if you ever need some help and support. Okay, so we talked a little bit about what Michigan Treasury is and what we do, but Michigan Department of Treasury is Michigan's revenue department. In other states, they may call what Treasury is the revenue department, and sometimes that revenue department in other states will also have some other things under its umbrella that in Michigan is in different departments of state. We're very specialized in Michigan at the state level on the different departments and what they do. So in other revenue departments, you might have business licensing and regulation under the revenue department. In Michigan, we don't have that at Treasury. That's with our Licensing and Regulatory Affairs, or LARA, Department of State, and also with LEO, Michigan Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity. So if you're a new business, that's where you start. You need to get your business recognized as doing business with the state of Michigan with LARA. And then the type of business you have and the type of activities you do, you might have some compliance things that you're going to be overlapping with LEO for. And then we've got the Michigan Department of Treasury, which administers most of the taxes, but not all of them. We don't do unemployment. That's with LEO. But in other departments or other revenue departments, it might be all under the same umbrella. Another difference that you probably are well aware of is that Michigan's Secretary of State is its own Department of State, not under the revenue umbrella. So very specialized. In Michigan, you kind of have to go to the specific departments for different parts of doing business. We know that that can be confusing, but at Treasury, we try to help you understand where you're at in that process. So we talked about what Treasury is, what Treasury does, but we haven't really talked about what our foundation is, what our strategy is, what our mission is. So Treasury is working strategically to be our very best in the things that we do. To achieve this goal of providing exceptional services in the areas of, yes, taxes, but also financial policy and revenue matters, we focus on these three building blocks. First, Treasury's success is built on the integrity and hard work of our engaged employees working together with you to find solutions. We're here for you. We work for you. We want to help you. And that is top of our mind every day. Next, we are cultivating a culture of public service. This means actively listening to your thoughts and concerns and sharing our successes and failures in a transparent way. We do that through your feedback. And I know no one wants to take not one more survey, right? Not one. But it is an effective way to tell Treasury how we're doing. So I do have some surveys. If you'd like to tell Treasury how we're doing or you have thoughts about that, come see me or visit the table over there. I'll put them over there. They're planetary purple. You can't miss them. But that helps us improve. And finally, we focus on continuous improvement at Treasury. So we take your feedback and we drive toward being better, to be our very best. And those three building blocks support Treasury's overall mission and vision of providing innovative, inclusive, fair, and efficient financial services on behalf of all Michiganders for the long-term health and stability of our state for a better Michigan. And my area is Treasury Outreach. We are situated in the Office of Communications. So really what we focus on is making information about the things that Treasury does more apparent and accessible to you. And we also are working to align our internal partners toward that same mission. So a lot of our work is currently in the IT space. We do communications for those technology implementation projects. We manage web content on our website, and we help craft messages and forms and all sorts of things to make understanding the taxes better at the state level. So let's start. Let me know how you feel about all this. Do we understand the difference between federal taxes and state taxes? Yeah? Awesome. Yeah, federal taxes due to the federal government, state taxes due to the state government. Sometimes you have municipality or city level tax. We don't have an income tax in Farmington Hills, so we don't have to worry about that one here. And the confusion about where the income tax goes. Am I paying income tax to the state, to the feds, to the city? Where's it all going, right? For you guys in Farmington Hills, we're talking about federal and state tax. This term taxpayer, it means responsible party. It means who's responsible for this tax per the law. So sometimes we use cool legal terms like person, and we think I'm a person, but also a business can be a person, or an entity can be a person. So we use that term kind of broadly. Usually when I'm talking about tax obligations, if it's a personal obligation, I call it an individual tax. When it's a business tax, we will call the taxpayer for a business tax as the business itself, but the business can't achieve that goal on its own, right? It can't achieve that expectation to pay that tax on its own. There's certain people at the business that get that done, and those folks are responsible parties. So usually that taxpayer term for a business tax, I'm referring to the business, but I'm looking at you responsible parties, owners, officers, partners, controllers, anyone internally that holds themselves out as being responsible for getting that tax obligation filed and paid, that's you. Okay. Another helpful hint for distinguishing federal and state taxes is that federal taxes, there's no sales and use tax like it is in Michigan on a business. And most federal taxes are based on income, whereas at the state of Michigan level, the taxes can also be based on income, but can also be based on business activity, property ownership, or government services. It's a little bit more broad. We're going to talk a lot about business taxes today, but I'm also going to sprinkle in some individual income tax information for you as well. Before we get into some of these tax obligations, we all have folks help us with tax, right? We have tax professionals, tax preparers, bookkeepers, CPAs. No matter who you use, those folks are tax professionals or service providers. I want you to know that there's nothing in Michigan's law that requires someone to have a special certification or to do any sort of training to call themselves a tax professional. So when you engage the services of a tax professional, it's your responsibility to make sure they're qualified. And by qualified, I mean they've handled a situation like yours before. If you go to a sales and use tax accountant and want your individual income tax done, they're not qualified to help you, right? That's not their area of expertise, even if they are a CPA, right? There are requirements to be a CPA, but anyone can hang out their shingle and call themselves a tax professional. So it's your due diligence to make sure that they're qualified. So you're going to interview them like you interview somebody for a job, or like somebody would interview you to get a job, to make sure that they're right for you, that they've handled business like yours before. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, that tax obligation, the filing, the payment, and the liability comes down to you as the taxpayer. And Treasury will not mediate a dispute between you and your tax professional on what happened there. So protect yourself, do your due diligence, and hire qualified folks. And all you have to do is ask them, what do you do to keep up to date on the changing tax laws? Are they members of organizations where they're getting that information? Do they have special certifications? May or may not matter. But what are they doing to keep up to date on the things that change all the time? I'll get off my soapbox about that. Okay. So Treasury's tax service is what we do in the tax space. We administer the taxes. So that's how the tax is filed and paid per the law. So we bring it all in. We also take a look at what's been filed and paid and compare it to the tax law. That's tax compliance, or our audit process. I saw some shivers. It's okay, auditors are not scary. They are there to make sure that everyone is paying their fair share, because that's the intention of the law. And then tax collection. If tax is not filed and paid and should have been, the tax collection process recovers that tax revenue for the state, which is important also at the city level because of revenue sharing, which is also something that Treasury is involved in. Okay, here's a big long list of taxes that are administered by Treasury. You will notice that unemployment is not here, as I already mentioned, but we have individual income tax, what I call the big business taxes are the most common ones, corporate income tax, withholding, sales use, all of those are kind of the big ones and the ones that are really important for most businesses, but you might have other tax obligations as well. Treasury administers a lot of miscellaneous taxes and fee programs like bottle deposit, 911 program, airport parking tax. So all of these make up the picture of Treasury's tax administration. Okay. Who out there has a business that sells stuff to the final consumer? Yeah, a couple of you, right? That's sales tax, right? So just at a high level, sales tax is a straight 6% tax across the state. Michigan does not allow sales tax at the local level. Yay, Michigan, because that's really messy for a lot of other states. So a lot of other states, like our friends surrounding us, Ohio, Indiana, Wisconsin, Minnesota, they have local sales tax in addition to state sales tax. And so you're dealing with two different tax rates, but depending on where that sale happens. And that gets really complicated. Trust me, sales tax is complicated enough without that. And sales tax does fund the general fund, which is revenue sharing that goes to the local governments as well. So there's that. You have a sales tax obligation when we have a sale at retail of tangible personal property to the final consumer. Sounds pretty mystical, doesn't it? Like, ooh, that's a nice definition. What does it mean? Well, tangible personal property, or TPP, is anything that can be weighed, seen, measured, felt, or is in any other way perceptible to the senses. Did it help? No? Okay. Think about tangible personal property as what it's not, and that can help you understand what it is. So tangible personal property is not real estate. It's not buildings permanently attached to the land for their useful life. It's not natural resources. Right now, in this very moment, it is not digital goods in Michigan. Digital goods are not tangible, so they're not subject to sales tax. Everything else could be tangible personal property and subject to sales tax. At retail means an exchange of consideration, whether that's money, credit, bartering, trade. If you have an exchange of consideration from a seller to a purchaser, that can qualify. That's the second prong. And the third prong is to the final consumer, or to the person who will use it or store it. So when you have those three things, we have sales tax in Michigan. It is the obligation of the business making the sale, meaning the business that makes the sale is the taxpayer. Is that confusing to anyone? Because, no, that's okay. Not confused because you see sales tax on your receipt when you buy something. That business is allowed to collect the tax from the consumer, but that puts them in a fiduciary relationship with Treasury to pass that tax on through. They can collect it from the customer, but it's their obligation. So if the business making the sale doesn't charge it properly or calculate it properly, that's coming out of the business's bottom line. Okay? Sales tax is a tax that if you pay early on time, you get a discount. Isn't that nice? Yay, right, cool. So that's a little helper for sales tax. Early and timely payment gets you a little bit of a discount on that tax. Not to belabor the point, but the retailer, the seller, the business making the sale is the taxpayer for sales tax. Sales tax is also destination-based, meaning wherever the transfer of ownership occurs from the business making the sale to the person buying it, that is where tax is due. So if it happens in Michigan, it's subject to Michigan tax. If it doesn't happen in Michigan, it's not Michigan's tax. Might be somebody else's tax, but it's not Michigan's. And then we have this concept of nexus, or sufficient presence in a state that tells a business whether Michigan can impose their sales and use tax laws on that business. Certainly if the business is located in Michigan and making sales here, they've established nexus and we can impose our tax on that business. But there's also economic activity. So think of businesses that are not physically in this state, like Wayfair, right? They're not in Michigan, but they sell a lot of stuff into Michigan. I might personally know that. I just did a home remodel. Wayfair was my friend. So Wayfair is selling to customers in Michigan, and the customer in Michigan is taking possession of that tangible personal property here. It's Michigan's tax because Wayfair sells enough into this state that we say we can impose our tax laws on them, on that business. And the Supreme Court agrees. In a recent decision, South Dakota versus Wayfair, that was 2018, where we got this economic activity threshold that lets us impose Michigan sales tax on businesses that are not physically here. And then there's also some representational click-through type of situations where even though a business is not making a direct sale into Michigan, if they're doing it through an intermediary, that tax will still go back to that original seller. So there's a lot of ways that tax can be due to Michigan. If you're a business in Michigan, in Farmington Hills, making sales to customers in Michigan and that's where it's happening, sales tax. If you're selling to customers outside of Michigan, right, you're shipping it through USPS or FedEx to customers outside of Michigan, you'll want to keep track of how much you're selling into those states and figure out what their economic activity thresholds are to find out when you need to pay their tax. Okay? How do we know how much sales tax is due? Well, we call that the sales price. What did you sell it for, and what components of that price are taxable in Michigan? And we've got some things by the statute, so facts and circumstances of a transaction that can make parts of that not taxable. Some of those things are types of items sold. So food for human consumption, grocery store items, milk, cheese, bread, meat, canned goods, not taxable based on our statute. There's some other things as well. We already talked about transfer of ownership outside of Michigan, making it not taxable to Michigan. I wanted to point out this recent change, from 2023. If you charge a customer delivery or installation fees, those are no longer taxable. You can exclude those from the price. Oh, I heard an oh. This was, before this law passed, this was the most hotly debated topic on sales tax. I'd ask audiences, delivery charges taxable? Yes, no, yes, no. Well, what if I call it freight? If I call it freight, is it not taxable? It was a hotly contested item and a lot of confusion around it, but this law really clarified where we were at on that. So if you separately itemize on your invoice to the customer that there's delivery and installation charges and that matches your books and records on how much you charge for delivery and installation, right? You're not using delivery and installation charges to escape tax, then those charges are not taxable. Unless, of course, you are selling electricity, natural gas, or artificial gas, and you're a utility. Anybody here have that? No? Okay. Then delivery and installation charges are not taxable if you follow these rules. We also have exemption-based tax determinations. And this is when the customer, when you are making a sale as a business and the customer says, hey, wait, I'm not don't charge me tax. I'm not taxable. It's true that a customer's status, whether it be who they are or how they're going to use what they're buying from you, can make the transaction not taxable. The most common scenario would be they are not the final consumer. They intend to resell it to somebody else, right? If they do that, if they make that assertion, that's through an exemption claim. And if you as the retailer accept that in good faith, you don't charge them tax. And this exemption certificate becomes your get out of tax free card in your records. So you don't pay tax on those transactions. Now, resale at retail is one type of exemption, but there are many. It's kind of small, but if you look at this exemption claim, there's actually 12 different types. And it's all based on statutory reasons, based on who the customer is or what they're going to use, what they're buying from you that can make them tax exempt. The most important thing about this exemption claim is that it comes from the customer's assertion. Don't start handing these out to your customers. That diminishes your good faith, right? You operate as if taxes due, and if the customer says, whoa, whoa, I'm exempt, then you're looking for an exemption claim from them. It can be this form, it could be a different form, it could be written on a napkin. Doesn't matter, just keep it in your records. All right, that's what I have to say about sales tax, because that's the biggest tax. And we've got a couple of other taxes I want to run through quickly. Use taxes, there's 2 types in Michigan. Also makes us a little bit unique. Use tax on purchases is kind of the use tax that all the other states have. Use tax on sales and rentals is a certain number of taxable services that we've isolated out from sales tax, but the use tax laws mirror the sales tax law pretty closely. So these taxable services, like I heard Michelle say telecommunications, that she does something with telecommunications in Farmington Hills. Telecommunications services can be taxable. Accommodations, overnight accommodations of less than 30 consecutive days. So when you stay at a hotel, motel, bed and breakfast, you rent a lake house on Lake Michigan for a long week with your family, taxable. Okay? Rentals or leases of tangible personal property can be taxable. The business that's renting that out, like think about rental vehicles. The business that's renting that out has either paid sales tax up front and is done with tax, or they've decided to exempt the tax when they bought the vehicle, and every time that vehicle goes out to a customer, they collect 6% tax on that rental stream. It's one or the other. So you can see it pop up for use tax on sales and rentals. And we've also got industrial laundering, or a service contract of more than 7 days for laundering of textiles. Unless you are a retail or restaurant establishment, then you're exempted from the tax by the statute. They must have had really good lobbyists when this got passed. A lot of nuances here, right? We talked about how sales and use tax are very mirror of each other. They're complementary, meaning it's one or the other, not both. Or if it is both, very limited circumstance, it's not to exceed 6%. Okay, so there's not going to be a situation where you owe 6% sales tax and 6% use tax for a total of 12%. That doesn't happen. Okay? Withholding, who has employees? Couple of you, right? If you are in a working relationship with someone where you are the employer and they are an employee, which is based on a 20-factor test from the IRS, not us, and the UIA also has a fact sheet about that if you need to clarify whether you have an employee or a contractor. If you have an employee, we're talking withholding tax. Michigan's withholding tax rate is the same as the income tax rate. It's 4.25% on a statutory basis. Sometimes the income tax rate is lowered if certain economic conditions are triggered, and the state treasurer and the legislative heads of finance agree to lower it. That happened in 2023. Does anyone remember that? Yeah, that happened for the individual income tax, withholding tax, and flow-through entity tax. It reduced to 4.05% for just that year, and then economic conditions brought it back up to 4.25%, and that's where it stayed. But that mechanism could happen every year. Withholding the income tax from the employee's pay and sending it to Treasury, the individual is able to take a credit against that based on their W-2 for federal and state. That's what withholding tax is. It's the obligation of the employer to withhold that with tax on the compensation. And I mentioned these reporting forms, federal and state. It's a federal form, but a state copy that memorializes how much you've withheld from your employees and workers. W-2s for employees, 1099 NEC, or non-employee compensation, for your non-employee workers. And these are remitted, the state copies are remitted to Treasury. We already talked about unemployment. You know what we're not going to talk about is this one, because Farmington Hills doesn't allow this, any cannabis to be sold in the city. So we didn't see this. Nothing's happening here. It's okay. We've got corporate income tax. So if you are a C corporation, and hopefully all of you get here if you're not already there, If you have allocated or apportioned gross receipts to Michigan in excess of $350,000, then you could be liable for this tax. Anybody there? You will be soon, I just know it. It's a 6% tax. We also have flow-through entity tax. Has anyone heard of this? Yeah, flow-through. This is for S corporations and or partnerships, and it allows the business to pay tax on behalf of the owners at Michigan's individual income tax rate. This is a SALT cap deduction workaround at the federal level. SALT meaning state and local tax. At the federal level, you are prevented from taking over a certain amount of credit on your federal return based on this income. So this SALT cap workaround allows the business to pay it and you to take a credit on your individual income tax return. There's been some changes, as you might be well aware, based on One Big Beautiful Bill or OB3, also some changes that are happening at the state level in response to that impact this tax and the need to have it. So we will see how this one all shakes out, but I wanted you to be aware of it. It is not a tax that anyone is compelled to do. It is optional. The business elects into it for 3 years, which is an irrevocable election, but you basically say, I want to do this, and we say, cool, you're signed up for 3 years, and you gotta do it. Okay, tax updates. Research and development tax credit is a new tax credit that is happening for corporate income tax taxpayers and also flow-through entities. Don't get that confused with flow-through entity tax. Flow-through entities, meaning S corporations or partnerships, are allowed to engage in this tax credit. The flow-through entity has to be an employer because they're going to take this credit against their withholding tax. Corporate income taxpayers are going to take it against their corporate income tax return. If you have qualified research and development expenses in Michigan, then you're able to take advantage of this tax credit. You make an application for a piece of the overall credit pie, and then Treasury advises you if you're allowed to have that credit based on everyone else that's applied. So if too many people apply and the pie is exhausted, we apportion everybody down. If the applicants for the pie are less than the total pie or just the same amount as the total pie, then we let you take that credit. So this is new. It's going into effect January 1st, 2026, but it's for research and development expenses beginning on or after January 1st, 2025. The first application deadline is April 1st of next year. We've got a lot of great information on our website already about this tax credit. Our systems are going to show this tax credit application and make it available in December, okay? I'll take just a few more moments to mention the Michigan Modernized Income Tax System, which is a IT project that is underway to replace a lot of our legacy systems. Our individual income tax system is from the 80s, and we are replacing it with an off-the-shelf commercial product capable of end-to-end tax administration, and that is going live in January 2026. So we are right there, getting that individual income tax system up and ready for next tax season. We're also putting our bottle deposit program in it. So a key component of this is also having a new web platform. And that web platform and our back-end system is done by the vendor Fast, and the product is Gentax, which is what most other states in the US and actually 55 tax administration entities in the US and worldwide are using for tax administration. So we're really excited about this. So stay tuned to our website for more information and guidance on this one. And as I mentioned, looking ahead, we've got some tax changes in the air. We've got a wholesale marijuana tax. We've got some changes to the fuel tax and sales tax and different things being funded in different places. We're working on this guidance and we'll have it posted to our website in the next couple of weeks. Okay, takeaways for success. File your returns and make your payments, right? Understand what your tax obligations are. Get those returns filed on time based on how often Treasury tells you need to file them, and then make that payment by that filing deadline. If you want to pay more often, no problem. You can. You can make a payment separately from a return. Sometimes we place taxpayers on filing frequencies that make them uncomfortable because they don't want to hang on to this tax money this long. Understand that you can get that off of your books and send it to Treasury, and that money will wait for your return. As a business, you are required to maintain your registration information with Treasury. So how to contact you, what type of business organization you have, what your legal address is, all that information has to be kept up to date, and it's the responsible parties of the business's responsibility to keep that up to date. The responsible parties should also have access to their information online through our various web platforms, soon to be added to. Don't worry, yes, there will be more. And even if you've hired a tax professional, your tax professional may actually need you to have access to your own tax account before they can get access to your tax account to help you. If you need your representative to talk to us, we need a power of attorney form. They can't just call us up and we can give them information. We can't. We have to have expressed written consent from you, and that's a power of attorney form. Keep your records for all your tax obligations, invoices, exemption claims, payments, all of it for 4 years. That's what the statute of limitations is. Treasury has 4 years from the date you file your return or the date it was due, whichever is later, to examine your records to substantiate that information on your tax return. So anything that goes on your tax return, keep the records that helped you prepare it. And then if Treasury sends you a letter, please respond. That seems obvious, right? You won't believe how many people don't, and they miss their appeal rights. Your appeal rights are so important. If you disagree with Treasury and you call us up and you're like, hey, what's going on? And you can't get a resolution, that's when you should exercise your appeal rights for an informal conference or a hearing. That sounds scary, it's really not that scary. Okay, that's your formal way. Of course.
Is the 4-year statute for individual or just for corporation?
It's a great question. Is the 4-year statute for individuals or business taxes? Both. Federally, they have a different statute. In Michigan, it's 4. Great question. Okay. All of these web services are available. You can, go ahead, yeah, take a picture, go ahead. It's also in a handout over there, along with all of our contact information is in the handout over there, and how to get a hold of my team. I appreciate your time. If you have any questions, come get a hold of me. Thank you.
Okay, everybody. So, brain break, just to wake everyone up. A little bit random, but I have to prove a point for my husband. If you are to choose, is it pumpkin spice or autumn apple? We're in the fall season. Please say pumpkin spice. What do I see? Okay, I got one. Okay, pumpkin spice. Okay, who else? Okay, there you go. Did anybody else see the other brain break that was there that had the pizzas? Okay, well, let's quickly go back there because I also want to show. Okay, an opinion. Should pizzas be cut into slices or squares? Yes. Can anybody tell me what this is called? What is that slice called? It's called the tavern cut. Post-World War II, just fun facts, I'm full of them. Post-World War II, we actually made pizza more casual, and this made it more capable of sharing during that time in the baby boom. Okay, so thank you everybody who has spoken so far. We've had a lot of great information. Again, my name is Tia Brockway. I am the Director of Economic Development for the city, and I am your main contact. Should you be a business looking to move into the city, or if you're looking for questions regarding your business, that is me. I am your go-to person, and I am capable of funneling down any of your questions that you might have to your corresponding and correct departments. So what kind of questions can I answer? One is, how can you move your business into Farmington Hills? That is, if you were to reach out to me, you can also reach out to our planning department, but if you were to reach out to me, I can help you locate space. If you are needing space, if that's square footage, if that's property, if that is infill property, we got it all. So reach out to me, ask your questions. And who do I reach out to for permits? So this one is an interesting one, and it depends on really what your project might be. It could be something related to the interior of your building, or if it could relate to something on the exterior of your building. So if you are looking for either or of those, you're either looking at your planning or your building department, but we also do have engineering permits too if you are looking to do something with your utilities. Is there space in Farmington Hills? Easy answer, yes. And are there grants available? So I was very happy to hear that Mick mentioned and Jerry mentioned that some of the grants that you might be looking for, because this is a very common question, are grants something that we can find you? Yes, in some of the senses, you might want to also consider loan options. Grants are a very good opportunity if you are looking for private opportunities and private ways to fund your project, but they are very competitive. They are also many of them have deadlines, and some of them only last for one time and one time only. So just be conscious of that. We can see what they might look like, but we have to kind of see what your situation is. But we do in the city have $30,000 worth of facade improvement grants off of Grand River Corridor. That is between Orchard Lake and Inkster Road. So if you're looking to do a facade improvement, which is improving the frontage of your building, you're looking to do landscaping improvements, improve your sign, and you're looking to do some improvements with your parking lot, those are eligible. So reach out to me if you have a property, if you're looking at a property there, then this is something that you can use. We also have a $200,000 brownfield grant, and that is anywhere out in the city. So that is really related to any of your brownfield eligible activities. What's a brownfield? Lots of people say, well, my site's not really contaminated, but I still need some funds and it's very obsolete. An obsolete property can also be an eligible activity. So if you're looking to demo a site, if you're looking to do any of those types of uses, that can be something that you can use. So potentially if you're looking on Grand River Corridor, you have $230,000, guys. So if you're looking to use that towards your business, please reach out. What's the difference between a grant and a loan? I think we kind of went over that, but a loan, more so, you can do many different kinds, and that is you can do a small business loan. You can also do micro loans, and that can be anywhere up to $500 and more. But your loans you can actually receive through your bank, of course, but you can also receive them through a credit union. So don't forget that they exist, because they're all over the place here. And then what kind of programs do I know of that can help you? We have lots of programs, and I think some of the resources that we have here today have really showed you just a taste of what we have. But take a look on our website as well. But I do also want to point out that if you are also looking at what kind of city initiatives do we have in Farmington Hills that's going to help our business. And right now we are looking to pump as much energy as we can to reinvigorate some of our major corridors. You probably heard off of 12 Mile Road that we made some text amendments with our zoning. And formerly, much of 12 Mile was primarily corporate office. But now we have the opportunity to have those infill properties and infill parking with retail and commercial opportunities. So you will have lots of space in the city, and if you are looking for ways to go about that and understand the zoning, you can always reach out to us. So, market demand, and why is it important to know? In our city, we've also worked on projects that are first of their kind. We have been looking at our 12-mile corridor. We've been looking at Orchard Lake Road as well as Grand River. And the reason behind this is because we wanted to understand really what are the characteristics, what's booming, what's trending, how can we make improvements in the city? And why is it important for you to know is for all these 5 reasons. For one, it reduces your risk in your business, because if you know the market, then you are capable of investing in something that the market wants, what people are wanting, and it aligns to your offer. You can align your offers accordingly. So you are capable of saying, hey, person who is on Grand River, do you like food? Well, I got a grocery store, and that's actually one of our greatest demands is grocery and food. So, for example, if you were looking for some data that would also look for demand, grocery, restaurant, and wellness services, you could really model what products and services to sell. And also understanding this is your right location to know where you want to plant your business and brick and mortar. So if you are understanding the demands, this helps you pick the best corporate for your business. This best corridor for your business could be Grand River, it could be Haggerty, it could be Orchard Lake Road, it could be really anywhere that might be suitable for your location. It can also assist you in your informed business model. So you can tailor your hours, your services, and marketing efforts to meet your community needs. And so, for example, we have a significant customer base of workers along the Grand River corridor. And that can also be a huge help for you, because if you are looking at a customer base on Grand River corridor that includes workers, then you're looking at something that is a regional draw, especially if it's within the 10-minute mile radius. Or if you're looking at the after-hour networking, where 12 Mile has a lot of your corporate offices. This is the area where you would want to build your venues and your next connectivities. But this also helps you stay competitive. Knowing your market helps you understand trends where you can differentiate your business and stay ahead of competitors. And it can help you attract investors and who that ever might be for your business and for what you are trying to open up. So for you to stay competitive in understanding how our market in the city will help small business owners and like yourselves stay competitive by revealing what customers want and where the gaps are, where people are not currently in. And it does help you understand which areas are oversaturated. Oops. So our Grand River Corridor Market Study, we have found some significant numbers, and I want you to make sure you take this information away. We have, for a long time, assumed that there was a great market in Grand River, and we just needed to understand, really, what is it? What are we missing? Because for a long time, it's had an industrial look. It has had the same kind of business customers for a long period of time. So what's missing? We're finding that there is $30 million worth of new customer spending along Grand River Corridor. And that is only between Orchard Lake Road and Inkster on Grand River. It's a very small spot, but with a lot of potential. And there is up to 90,000 square feet that is capable of moving into this area. We have a huge demand for grocery. We have a huge demand for general merchandise, so your clothing, your shopping, your retail. Restaurants are one of the top things that everybody's asking for. Everyone loves to eat, so hence my pizza question. And so restaurants, your QSRs, casual dining, drive-through, sit down, those are all things that are greatly needed in this location. Housewares are also very important. So just like our friend here who purchased lots of Wayfair, if we were to have something in Grand River, she can come to Grand River. And our demographics, we have, speeding ahead, 120,000 residents and 45,000 workers within this trade area. So our trade area that you see here is this egg-shaped yellow on our map. And to have 120,000 people along Grand River is a significant advantage for you to know, is a significant advantage for you to have as well, especially considering we do not have any grocery except within 2 miles of Grand River. We have 3 food places in Grand River. It is currently a food desert. So if you are looking to open up a specialty store, a grocery, produce, you have a huge customer base. There is also a massive customer pull within that 10 minutes drive because of this. So the 45,000 workers within this area are our frequent flyers, and they really represent the reliable customers, and it is a huge opportunity for your casual dining, your family fare, your personal or your coffee shops, your personal services, so your dry cleaning, fitness salons where you can get your hair done. And to have people in such a close area in 10 minutes of a drive time can really draw from your local and regional customers. And because of these factors, we are also looking at a demand in mixed use and residential housing potential. So this is especially where office, retail, and residential can coexist for developers looking to create the live, work, play environments. 12 Mile Road is a little bit of a different beast, but not a scary one. It is our lifestyle and innovation hub within Farmington Hills. And we have been looking significantly along 12 Mile Road to assist our corporate partners, but also to assist those that are employees there and those that are property owners. There is a huge demand that we are finding to support these types of industries. After reaching out to those that exist on 12 Mile through surveys, our community, we had an outstanding response of 1,000 people who very much so said the same thing. Businesses are looking for ways that can assist their product development, like packaging, testing labs, logistics, and operations, your IT, your HR, your facilities and warehousing, but your employee wellness as well. Everybody wants to be happy. Everyone is looking for greater quality of life purpose, where they're living, where they're working, and to have it close by is very important. So your mental health, your fitness, your cafes. This corridor, this trade area, serves 740,000 people. And this is between Orchard Lake Road and Haggerty on the south side of 12 Mile. So the trade area is fantastic. We have $20.4 billion in consumer demand annually, and $5.1 million in retail consumers annually as well. So there's a lot of opportunities, and we are trying to spread the word that the mixed use, higher end dining, at least one, guys, just at least one, just give us one. And then after hour networking venues can be really, really well utilized. Townhomes and multifamily as well, where we are searching and finding new ways for these office to residential conversions. So we currently do have a lot of our existing R&D, like Nissan Tech, ZF, Bosch, and JST. So this does create your ripple effects for startups and services that can help provide and support the existing companies that are there. So by supporting these kind of anchors that exist, they're co-working spaces and prototyping labs, wellness providers, and so on and so forth. We talked about employee wellness as a business opportunity. And to emphasize on that is a lot of your health and fitness and food services, a growing market for wellness-oriented businesses, and so people have something to go to. When we are looking at 12 Mile, if you work there, does anybody work along 12 Mile Road right now? Anybody? Okay, got a few people, all right. So how far do you have to walk to get food? You don't count. He's from Farmhouse Coffee. He has food at him. You're across the street, okay. If you were to be off of Drake Road, or if you were to be closer on the east side or west side, it might be a little bit difficult. So let's see how we can actually integrate more cafes into these sites, and how we might be able to use the existing parking as prime real estate for new growth and new retail, new restaurant, and for people to live. Orchard Lake Road. Orchard Lake Road, we're taking a market study approach and looking at just about OCC all the way up to 14 Mile, bless you, on both sides of the street. So we have found that in this trade area, which actually there's a ton of people coming from all over the place, it is known for its international cuisine. We have a fantastic amount of restaurants. We have Pars, we have Damas, there's Patel Brothers, Orchard Foods. It's a fantastic opportunity to really go and find any type of cuisine that you're looking for. And because of this, Visit Detroit actually featured some of our restaurants on their website and on their Instagram pages, and it really boomed and doubled in size. So we had seen a 10% increase of visitors in this area since 2022, and that is fantastic. So there's a huge demand for more experiential restaurants. What's that mean? That means if there's an area, I would like to go and have a date night. People are looking for ways they might be able to find that's cool and hip to go to. It's a bar or a speakeasy, or it has a great steak and a great opportunity, and I'm vegan and I'm talking about steak, but there are people who want to be able to gather in a location where they can take their friends and family to. But also indoor recreation. So if anybody likes to jump on some indoor trampolines, I have 2 young kids, they force me. The indoor recreation is going to be fabulous and fun, and this is something that people are really looking forward to and have a huge demand for. But our demographics are also quite large in this section as well. So we have $13.7 billion in annual consumer demand and 6.5 retail consumers annually as well. And we have almost 100,000 annual drivers every year that's crossing Orchard Lake Road, and that's 696. That's a huge opportunity for your business to be there, for people to see it as a frontage. So we have people who are seriously having a huge demand for your ethnic restaurants and bakeries and jewelers, family dining, fast casual, and drive-throughs, and specialty retail and small business. And what makes the cultural capital, makes this ideal for additional ethnic grocery stores, boutique retail, and cultural event spaces. The high traffic volume, we talked about that, and that really does mean that you have great visibility, and that is your major asset to have on your frontage. Have good storefront, have good, a good signage, draw people in. And furthermore, there has been a huge demand for pedestrian access and green space. So more people are looking to exit their homes and walk, or if they're finding a way to leave work and walk to a place from here and there, more people are demanding this. More people are demanding green space, and I think a lot more people are wanting to look at prettier things while they sit in traffic. So it has been much more of a need throughout, I think, many communities, not just Farmington Hills, but to provide more landscape opportunities and ways where we can connect walker and pedestrian to their destination. So we do have quite a few exciting things that are happening in Farmington Hills. I think you all probably know that Hunter Square is going to be redeveloped. We have the Kirk Gibson Foundation that has come to our city as well, and we are significantly growing right now, and the opportunities for you are massive. This is just a very small snippet of the really great information and these data and metrics that we have based on these corridor studies. And what our job as city people now is to make sure, how can we make it as easy for you to open up your business, to grow, expand, and locate here in Farmington Hills, and to understand really what those steps might be for you to get there. I think our city manager left, but he would love this because he's a ship guy and he loves boats. But a ship in a harbor is safe, but that's not what ships are built for. And that's by John A. Shedd. So you are not just business owners. You are inventors and artisans and visionaries, risk takers. When you are ready to set sail, we will help guide you on your journey to success. And I want to thank you. And if there's any questions, you can feel free to ask me, but I do want to welcome Steve Anir from the Kirk Gibson Foundation. It's such a blessing to have him here and to be able to share with you the message of what their foundation is doing in Farmington Hills. But I hope that you have kind of seen a pattern because they just recently opened, but wanting to make sure that you receive your resources from your start of your idea to how you establish yourselves, how to connect with the city, and establish an organization like the Kirk Gibson. So you can take it away, Steve, from here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tia, and I really appreciate the invite to be able to come along and have a chat to you all today. Great to see you, Teresa, and Gary was here as well. You know, the City of Farmington Hills has been an astonishing partner of ours. We're so happy that we are in this community, and I'm going to give you a sense of why we're here and why this has been so valuable to us. You know, community to me, I don't know what the official definition of that is, but community to me is a place where you belong, and we certainly feel, having opened up our centre on October 6th, that we very much belong in this community, and it is exactly the right place for us to be. So Nikki, bravo to you for battling through not feeling well with your speech today. You're a fighter, obviously, just like Kirk Gibson is. And the reason why I, a transplanted Australian that does not have Parkinson's disease, is standing here in the community of Farmington Hills is because I've been inspired by this man. He's an extraordinary human being, and he was diagnosed with Parkinson's in 2015. He thinks he probably had it from about 8 years before that. And commonly, people are misdiagnosed. So 2015, 2 years after that, Kirk decided to set up a foundation to help people who were going through the same battle that he was going through. Just 2 years after his own diagnosis, he decided that he would help other people. And he and I met in 2019 on a golf course, And it was 8 o'clock in the morning, and I was waiting to tee off with a group of mates. And we saw this guy running up the 9th green. So he, by himself, was finishing the 9th hole at 8 o'clock in the morning with a bag over his back. And he walked past us, and we all my American friends were very excited and were chatting with him and having a bit of fun. I had no idea who he was. I had to go home and Google him, and the first thing that came up was the Vince Scully call of the '88 home run that he hit for the Dodgers. I never knew the baseball hero that is Kirk Gibson. I'll be one of the few people in this room or in Michigan that wouldn't have known him or who he did or what he did. What I know is a hero who has been very successful in his life and could be doing his own thing, looking after his own health and his family, but he chooses to fight every day on behalf of others. It's quite extraordinary, it's quite inspiring. And that, being inspired by what he was doing, led me to help out in his foundation and eventually take on the role of CEO to open this centre here in Farmington Hills. So we were looking at ways that we could help people with Parkinson's a lot more than what the foundation was doing when I joined it. So we're funding other organisations that were providing movement-based programs primarily for people with the disease. The reason Kirk was running the course that morning was because he knew that movement matters. Movement slows down the onset and helps you manage the symptoms, slows down the onset of the symptoms of Parkinson's. Movement matters. And he knew that, but most people with Parkinson's, when they're diagnosed, do not know that. Not only that, there's just very little Parkinson's-focused programs available in any community throughout the US to help people. So when we decided to get much more ambitious and aggressive about helping people, we started to research. And we looked at organisations all over the US, spent about 9 months doing it. And we came across hundreds of different organisations that were providing different sort of programs to people with Parkinson's. It's astonishing the number there were, but there were a couple of common traits. Firstly, the whole system is completely fragmented. There's no coordination. Secondly, it's horribly underfunded. So to do this right means that you have to step up in a different way to what was there before. In our research, we were able to collect what we felt was best practice, because we wanted to, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it right. And so best practice meant finding out the things that worked, the programs that worked for people with Parkinson's. And it had to be evidence-based. It had to be data-backed. And we built this body of work that we then put together into a business case. And that business case led us to coming up with an idea that said, we will open a centre in Michigan where there are 35,000 people battling this disease, 35,000 families affected by it. We will open up a centre in Michigan and everything will be free. And that centre will focus on movement-based programs along with support, counselling and education. That was the plan. But Kirk layered something incredibly important across all of that, and that was the concept of community. So why was community, the feeling of belonging, so important to Kirk's vision for what we were going to do? So I'll take you on a little imaginary journey here now and help you understand why this is so important. So I want you all to imagine, so stay with me here, that you're sitting at that table over there on the far side of the room. The buffet's there, that's the table you're sitting at. I want you all now to raise one of your hands, just raise it up, to just anywhere you're comfortable, and they'll flutter it. Just flutter it, to the point where you think, I couldn't write with this, couldn't type with this, really hard to carry a cup of coffee. Okay, now I want you to imagine something else. I want you to imagine walking your normal way, and now your right foot starts to drag. Sometimes it stops altogether, and you're walking at about 1/3 of your normal pace. So imagine what that feels like. Now I want you to imagine this, sitting over at this table. Stephen here's about to come up and speak, and you think, oh, this is going to be pretty boring. I need a cup of coffee. So I'm going to go to that buffet and get a cup of coffee, and I'm going to walk in front of all of these people. So now I want you to close your eyes and think about how you feel. Your hand's shaking, your foot's dragging, you have not slept properly for a week, you're exhausted, you're constipated and haven't properly gone to the bathroom for 3 days. and you're walking in front of all of these people, and you're drooling. And you know, for the condition that you have, there is no cure. And you know that it's going to get worse. Okay, so thanks for joining me on that. We are talking about an example of someone with mid-stage Parkinson's. And what typically happens is the longer the disease goes on, the longer it impacts, the more isolated people come from their community, from their family, from their workplace. It's embarrassment. It's got such a dreadful impact on their life. And Kirk is never, ever anything but brutally honest about how these symptoms affect his life because he's a spokesman for it. And so the notion of community, where someone with those symptoms, or a combination of, or one or two of them, could come along and feel like they belong, that was what was so important. And when we decided we were going to do that, then we had to find a community where we would feel great. And we did a study, because what we wanted to do was make sure that we optimised access. So we did a demographic study based on where was the right place to put a community centre, this new idea. And it was Farmington Hills. So we believe that there are 8,000 people with Parkinson's disease within a 30-minute drive of where we are located on the corner of Middlebelt and Northwestern. Perfect for us. It's the best place we could possibly locate a centre, give or take a couple of 100 yards. So knowing that Farmington Hills was, from a location point of view, the right place, we went looking for a building, we found that building, we signed a lease last year, we finished design at the end of last year, and started construction, demolition early February of this year. We opened on October 6th, finished construction in August of this year. It was fast. It was fast because we had a partner, the City of Farmington Hills, that helped us all the way along. Our permitting and our inspections and just the general support was amazing. And then layered on top of that was what the city has done for us in order to get the word out. Because we have to find those 8,000 people. They don't know about us. We have to find them. And that's a really big job. It's going to take us a number of years, not only to find them, but then people that live further away. And then we've got to start thinking about transport and how can we open up access. So we've done all of that, and we've had a great partner in doing it. So what is the centre? The centre is a 40,000 square foot building, and it provides primarily movement-based programs, all the way through things like yoga, spin classes, strength, cardio, drumming, music, dance, singing, all of these programs that are helpful for people to stave off the impact of Parkinson's on their body, and it is just amazing how quickly that impacts people. And on top of that, we have education. So what is it like to live with Parkinson's? What is it like as a loved one? What is it like as a person who has the disease? How can I plan for the future? And then we have support and counselling services. So we've got a really comprehensive model, unlike anything that has been done before in this country. And we've had a lot of good input from people that have been doing this for many, many years very, very well. So we've learned from others in order to put this into play. And so now the impact and what it's actually meant. We opened the doors. One thing we got wrong in the business case was we felt by the end of, and we thought we were aggressive about this, by the end of year one of operations, of opening, we'd have 1,000 members coming along accessing this free care. At the end of year two, our aggressive ambition was there would be 2,000 families coming along. And it's not just the members, it's the families as well. So if someone wants to come along and hang out and read a book or do some work, or places where you can take a work meeting. So it's really important that we look after the caregivers as well. So 2,000 was our goal at the end of year two. We opened the doors on October 6th. Today we have 950 people lined up to come to the centre. 950. It's just... I appreciate the applause. It talks to the need that's in the community for this kind of support for people with this kind of disease. That's what it talks to, and the enthusiasm that is there for this model. So we are ramping up much faster than we ever thought we had to. I think the way we're going, we'll hit that 2,000 number early next year. So we are going well. We've still got a lot to learn. We've still got a lot to do. It's still early days for us, but I couldn't be more thankful for us being in this community, looking after this Parkinson's community. And while we're getting a lot of great feedback and the classes are going really great, there's nothing speaks more loudly than the voice of the members themselves. And I talk to them every day. It's just my privilege and joy to be able to talk to them about their individual stories and the impact this is having on their lives. But I'm going to show you a video now of them talking. And this video was taken, we did a couple of open houses to build awareness around the centre, and I'll come back after the videos and talk to you about where you can help us. We did a couple of open houses and just said, come along and have a look what's coming. The centre wasn't ready yet. We were just starting some orientations, doing our soft launch, trying to get all the bugs out of our own processes, starting some very small classes to train coaches. And we shot this video at one of those open houses. So I may need a hand to open this up to, if you wouldn't mind.
As I was doing this PowerPoint presentation, I was looking for good quotes, and I did see a good Kirk Gibson quote, and it was one of my favorites. I'm not out here to win a beauty contest. that was a hilarious one.
So this is opened up by Mary Lynn Foster, who is the CEO of the centre. And we're absolutely delighted that Mary Lynn decided to join us. Her husband has Parkinson's disease, and Mary Lynn had run the Red Cross in Michigan for many years. So highly accomplished and wonderful person who is really focused on setting up the right culture and operations here. I'll just drop here.
Just a short while ago, I just stood in the middle of the community center here behind me, and I just did a panorama, and I just turned around, because up until now, we've been building it. And even this morning, before the first member walked in, I thought, what happens if nobody comes?
I'm not going to say a lot. We've just begun, okay? So it's great to see you out here today, and brings a tear to my eye. Awesome. You guys are awesome, my teammates.
It's great to see that there's a new way of looking at Parkinson's.
Just walking around already, I saw that they had boxing. I've never boxed in my life. They have a chance to learn boxing.
I'm excited for the spinning classes. It seems like it could be a struggle, but I'm up for the struggle.
Oh, I'm excited. Being able just to be here and to support Susan in her journey through Parkinson's and to do it together.
I think it's important to be with others who have Parkinson's and share the journey.
Oh, it's going to make a world of difference. For one thing, I'll have access to talk to people that have my problem and my issues and know what I'm dealing with.
Well, I think one of the most daunting things about being a caretaker is not knowing what's going to happen next. It makes all the difference in the world to have a community.
What I might be experiencing today will have nothing to do with what I experience tomorrow.
Once I found out, I had Parkinson's, I started going online and looking at stuff, and it's like, there's so much stuff out there. And honestly, some of it scared the shit out of me. And this was, I'd say it just felt more like a lifeline, like this is something that, I can grasp onto. And then I found out it's free. It's like, that's a magic word.
I mean, there's no excuse for anybody who has Parkinson's not to be here.
Can you get your arms up? You do good. Good job, man.
Hang it in there, hang it in there.
It helps me almost more than anything else in the world. It's Michael J. Fox Foundation is looking for a cure. Kurt Gibson's foundation is going to keep us around long enough so we can see that cure, so we can take advantage of it also. It's the only hope we can hold on to, is to get a cure for this disease that affects so many people. I'm sorry.
Just let me say, it's not me, it's the volunteers and the people that change cities to come and help you all. So you'll see them around, they're very helpful. And you know, we got hope to have some fun here and have some good quality of life, and we're gonna do it. I don't care what anybody says, I'm sticking to it.
This is a lot of work for him to have done, and for others to support him in this, and to make this center free for people. It's just, I can't even explain what that means.
Oh, thank you. They have no idea how important it is. Very, very grateful.
Thank you. I hope I can keep it going as long as there's a Parkinson's disease, and when there's not, they move something else in.
It's a godsend. It's a blessing to everybody in this community, and hopefully it'll be a model for other areas, different places also. Follow their lead.
Keep donating. You're doing a wonderful thing. You're providing a fabulous state-of-the-art facility. If you haven't been through something like this, you have no idea what it means.
It's all right here under one roof, and then you can come and relax too in the meantime.
You gonna come back?
I plan on coming back as soon as they open. I'll be the first one in the door.
I'm coming back for orientation on Monday.
So as long as it's open during the week, I'll be here.
It's nice that something goes right once in a while for those of us with Parkinson's.
Thank you. So, you know, it's pretty meaningful, the effect that's having, and so we're very pleased with what's going on. I'll ask for your help, and the number one thing that you can do for us is, if you know of anybody with Parkinson's that doesn't know about the centre or is reluctant to come, encourage them to come along. Encourage them to find their community, because I'm sure that they will enjoy it. And most of all, that they can lead a better quality of life by taking part in the programming that's at the centre. Sure, we need a lot of money to make this happen, and we'll be fundraising for quite some time to do it. We need volunteers, particularly people that are qualified as physiotherapists and occupational therapists and movement specialists. But most of all, we need to get the word out so we can get everybody along. Thanks so much for your time today, and I appreciate it. Thanks, Teresa.
Well, thank you so much, Steve, and all of our presenters who have spoken. It's been a wonderful opportunity to share everything that we possibly could with you today. And if you have any additional questions, and that, I want to thank you again. Thank you so much.